Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, I want to share with you 10 unusual ways that we save money. And saving money has always been one of our top priorities, whether that was saving money for our down payment in the past, or now saving money to rebuild our emergency fund, to pay off our house early, and to begin to invest more. But on top of all the normal ways that we save, like budgeting, paying ourselves first, and all that, we also save money in a few more unusual ways. So today, I want to look at some of the more uncommon or strange ways that we save money, and my hope is that this gives you some ideas or inspiration to save as you chase after your financial goals. And I'm excited to get into this, so be sure to hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. And a big thank you to NerdWallet for sponsoring today's video. We'll talk about them in a bit, but now let's get started with the first weird way that we save money, and that's that we refrigerate and freeze everything. Okay, everything is a bit of an exaggeration here, but there are a lot of normal pantry items that we choose to freeze or refrigerate instead to extend their life. And if you find that you seem to always have food going bad on you, I feel like that's definitely a problem when there's only 2 people living in a house, or at least it's something we've experienced. But if you have food always going bad on you, a great way to save money, to reduce food waste, and really just to make the most of the food that you have is to refrigerate or freeze your items. So for example, most people tend to think of things like bread, onions, and potatoes as pantry items that don't belong in the fridge. But by storing those items in the fridge, you can actually prolong those items' life by weeks and even months. And so we love doing that because it allows us to actually finish the items that we buy before they go bad. And I like to do the same thing when it comes to our freezer too. We buy a lot of fruit and eat quite a bit of it regularly. However, as soon as I notice that something is on its way out, what I'll often do is simply freeze that item, whether it's spinach, kale, bananas, avocados, or any kind of berry or fruit. We'll just freeze those items and then later use them in smoothies. And so doing this really helps us to get the most bang for our buck when it comes to our grocery budget and make sure that we aren't wasting money unnecessarily. And then another fun way that we save money is to only buy replacements. And a motto that I like to live by in a lot of areas of my life is replace, don't accumulate. And this is a great way to prevent any pileup of unused items and things going to waste, which just results in money being thrown out the window for us. And so I especially like to use this one when it comes to things like makeup and skincare. I always try never to buy the replacement makeup item until I'm on like the last couple of days of whatever makeup item I'm running out of. So right now I'm running pretty low on the daily moisturizer I use, and I'm probably going to wait a few more days until I'm right at the end of the bottle before buying the replacement. And that's just one easy way of making sure that I don't have duplicates or triplicates of any items on hand, and that I can keep my skincare routine simple without developing an expensive collection. All right, I feel like this next one is a bit more uncommon, and that's that I never pay full price for a haircut. Now I'll admit, I'm definitely lucky on this one in that Christopher's mom is actually a retired hairdresser, and so whenever we go over to visit, she is always asking us if we need a trim or if we want a haircut or anything like that. So right now, she is the exclusive person who cuts my hair. But even before we got married, I never paid full price for a haircut. Either I'd have my mom or my sister cut my hair, or if I wanted something a bit more elaborate, I would go to a local salon school where they could cut my hair for a fraction of the price of a typical salon. And if you tend to keep a fairly simple hairstyle, this really can be such a great way to save money. You can easily spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year getting your hair cut and colored. And so having a friend or family member cut your hair, or even if you want to learn to do it yourself, cutting your own hair can be a fantastic way to save a lot of money. And then one of the more recent money-saving habits I've developed is to plan my driving so I could save on gas. If you've been around here for a while, you probably already know this, but we used to live literally in walking distance to all of the errands I could possibly want to accomplish. We were right next to Target, we had a grocery store in walking distance, everything was really convenient to get to. But since we've moved a bit further away from the city, I definitely need to drive a bit more frequently. And so I've tried to become really strategic about planning my trips in a way that can save us on gas. By knocking out multiple tasks at once, I'm able to really save money on gas because I'm not taking more trips than I need to. So for example, if I decide to meet up with a friend at a local coffee shop, I might on the same trip also decide to pick up any prescriptions that I have that need to be picked up and to get my groceries at the same time so that I can save time and money by not creating more trips for myself than I need to. And then this next one has been a big one for me, and that's to not be afraid to walk out empty-handed. There was always something inside of me that would feel guilty whenever I walked out of a store without buying anything. And so it would happen all the time that I would buy something small or sometimes something big just to remove that feeling of discomfort of walking out of a store without holding anything. But the truth is, whenever we walk into a store, we are not obligated to come out of it having bought something. If you walk into a store and they don't have what you need or what you're looking for, it is okay and good to walk out of it empty-handed. Okay, and I'm excited to share with you the next weird way that we save money, but before I do, I want to share with you a bit about today's sponsor, NerdWallet. And if you've never heard about NerdWallet before, it is an amazing resource for everything financial. With expert advice and helpful tools, they really help you shop for financial products and manage your money. But where they really tie into what we're talking about today is the fact that yes, saving money is important, but what we do with the money we save is just as important. And if you, like I did for years, just have your money sitting in a bank account, earning you little to no interest, it's time to put your savings to work. This is actually something that we did a few months back. We used NerdWallet to find and open a high-yield savings account so we could have somewhere to keep and grow our money as we saved up to buy a second vehicle and to rebuild our emergency fund. And I'm happy to report we have good news on that front. We are already able to meet one of those goals. We recently bought a second used car, which is actually identical to our first. We love Toyota Corollas for whatever reason. Actually, the reason is that they're super efficient when it comes to gas and rarely ever need repairs, but that's beside the point. So we've got one goal down and one to go, and we're already well on our way to the second goal of topping off our emergency fund. And so if you're wanting to learn more or to open up a high-yield savings account of your own, NerdWallet really makes it incredibly easy. They've done all the hard work for you by researching literally dozens of financial institutions to find the best options. And then they compile them for you too, so you can quickly compare options and find the one that's going to help you earn the maximum amount of interest each year. So if you want to start making the most out of your savings, just click on the link in the description box below, and that will open up a curated list for you, and you can sort it based on where you live. But then you can review their recommendations on the best savings accounts, look at interest rates, and more, so that you can pick the perfect option for you. So if you want to learn more or to open a high-yield savings account of your own, just click on the link in the description box below to explore your best money options with NerdWallet. And that way you can start making the most of your savings today. Let's continue now though with another weird way that we like to save money, and this is another food one, and that's to buy large meals. Whenever I go to restaurants, I'll often choose the larger option of a particular meal with the idea that I can take home whatever I don't eat for leftovers. Depending on what restaurant I go to, I can often get 2 or 3 full meals out of one single order. And so that's a really easy way for me to save money, because I'm literally paying for 1 meal's worth of food and getting 2 to 3 meals worth of return on investment, I guess. But the real idea behind this one is that you're trying to get the full value of your money and not letting any food go to waste, and also maximizing your dollars, because typically if you order a larger portion, you're getting more food for each dollar. And this one might seem like a pretty small one, but it definitely adds up. There are certain meals that I can literally make 4 or 5 meals out of. Like whenever I order pad thai, I feel like that lasts me almost a week for the meals. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I can get several healthy sized meals from a large pad thai serving. Next is that we like to buy used or buy secondhand where possible. And this is one that I feel like has gained popularity in recent years as people have come to understand more the sustainability aspect of buying secondhand, but it can be a great way to save money too. But where this one becomes a bit more of an unusual money saving strategy for me is that I'll often buy secondhand in categories and areas that people typically avoid. Things like shoes or activewear. A great example of this is a few months ago, I was actually looking at buying a pair of Allbirds as a replacement for my previous pair of sneakers, and I was actually able to thrift a pair at a local consignment store. And obviously with categories like this, it's important to be cautious and to clean things thoroughly before using them yourself. But at the same time, this can be a great way to save money. And just looking at the pair of Allbirds, for example, I was able to pay a quarter of the price for them as I would have if I were to buy them new. That one really can have a massive impact. And I love this next one too, and that's to sell what you were already planning on getting rid of. I find that when we're decluttering, it can be really tempting for us to want to donate, gift, or simply to throw out things that we don't want anymore because it's easier. But you can save up so much money simply by selling the things that you were already planning on getting rid of. Just since we've moved, I was able to sell our patio set that literally had paint splattered on it, and initially I was thinking that we'd have to maybe throw out because I wasn't sure we could even donate it, and I got $50 from that. I also made $5 from a paint can that I was literally going to recycle at our local recycling facility. We sold an old TV stand too, and quite a few other items that we might have otherwise just donated, and we literally made hundreds of dollars just in the past few months from selling things that we were planning on decluttering. And so I think that's a great lesson of just because something doesn't have value to you anymore doesn't mean that it can't provide value to someone else and value that they're willing to pay for. So I definitely think it's worth the effort to, if you're decluttering and getting rid of items, just to take those few extra minutes to list things on Facebook Marketplace or whatever your favorite selling app of choice is. And then another unusual way that we save money is that we like to do a gift-giving lottery around the holidays. And so for context with this one, Christopher and I are both from fairly large families, and so buying gifts for 10 people, not even including ourselves, was getting to be a lot every Christmas. And so in the past few years, our families have started drawing names for Christmas presents rather than everyone buying a present for everyone else. And we also set a budget too, so that everyone is giving and receiving something of similar value. But the minimalist in me loves it too because I'm able to buy one really intentional and thoughtful present for the person whose name I drew, rather than trying to buy a bunch of cheaper gifts for everyone that probably aren't even going to be used. So this is a great one because it helps us to save money, but it also helps us to approach gift giving with more intention. And then the final kind of weird way that I like to save money is that sometimes I like to shop under a time limit. And if you're prone to browsing stores and kind of picking up items that you don't actually need as you go, this can be a great one. What I'll do is just set a time limit for my shopping so I can kind of get in and get out without buying anything that I don't need. And by putting limits on yourself in this way, it really helps to reduce the temptation and any chances that you might come away with impulse purchases or just generally items that aren't going to be intentional for you. And so I don't do this with every store, but there are certain ones that I know that I have more of a tendency to browse in. And so for those stores, I do like to set a time limit, which is just kind of like an artificial constraint that I'm putting on myself that can help me to just naturally shop more intentionally and not waste money in the process. So those are 10 uncommon or strange ways that we like to save money. And my hope is that this gives you some ideas or inspiration to really help you as you chase after your financial goals. Whether you want to adopt some of the ideas I mentioned here or simply to find your own unconventional ways of saving money. Now, I want to know though, are there any strange ways that you like to save money? If there are, I would love to hear about them, so be sure to comment them down below. And don't forget that if you want to really start making the most out of your savings today and to find and open a high yield savings account of your own, you can just click on the link in the description box below to explore your best money options with NerdWallet. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did and haven't already, I would love it if you'd hit that subscribe button below for more simple and intentional living videos coming at you twice a week. And remember that if you're looking for daily inspiration and updates, you can follow me on Instagram as well. I'm at ashlynne.eaton on there, and I'd love to have you join me. That's everything for today's video though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.